been working since 1.5 year for a service-based company, and I'm working as a automation engineer. So Grafana is like new tool for me. Previously, I worked in Splunk and Dynatrace. So I'm just looking for expertise.
Great. Welcome, Ron.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Thanks.
Who next? I'll take the stage for next 1 more minute since we have limited time and we need to discuss quite a lot stuff. Anyone next who is willing to introduce and put their expectation for the program?
And about
Mhm.
my expectation is like creating new dashboards and triggering alert and all. So I have to work in a different scopes, like many data source will be there. So as per the data source, their query language will be different. So
Correct.
we need to just we just need to configure those data source into Grafana. So different kinds of making dashboards and alerts triggering. Moreover, admin whatever admin work which is done, that's I am just looking for.
Noted. Thanks for that input, Ron. Okay. So welcome everyone. Now we'll move forward with you know uh, agenda for the day. So it's basically demo day, and we're gonna like discuss uh, a quick look onto our program, as well as we'll be understanding some sort of need or the requirement for Grafana, why need like Grafana, and where this solutions looks to be right fit in current microservices age. Anyone who is still willing to introduce themselves, they can use the chat channel, and they can put in 3 lines, their name, expectation with the program, and experience with Grafana. Okay. Quick sanity check on my end. If everything looks great, I'll check if internet is fine. So this is good. And I'll request everyone to be on mute while while I'll be putting in some information, and post that like conclusion of that particular input or point. Feel free to raise your hand. I'll make sure to unmute. Or if you see that there is like a quick need of answering, or it can be accommodated later, put it in the form of chat. Okay, I'll make sure to respond in timely manner. Okay, so let's okay, so we have started getting in some sort of I'll be monitoring the chats. So let's get started first, and then I'll keep on responding with any sort of input, whatever anyone looking forward to. Okay, so what's the agenda for this demo? First of all, we'll understand uh, what is actually metric mean and why do we need metric, and then we'll go with the high level view of Prometheus and what challenges we're gonna see with Prometheus that bring us to a different solution in the form of Grafana to solve those particular challenges. Okay, so this program is all about enabling everyone over here, or those who will be willing to go forward with Grafana. And when I say Grafana, it'll be end-to-end Grafana. So they will be definitely gonna be comfortable with Grafana UI, how it function, and its backend control. And other than that, even we're gonna look on to various different techniques to deploy Grafana. It will gonna include containerized technique and as a service deployment. And third thing would be as a operator based deployment, even we're gonna like look on to that. Now will not be getting a paid Red Hat based uh, platform to showcase, but we'll gonna like talk on that too, that mode of implementation. So anyone here would like to add in input? Let's make this a demonstration bit interactive. So feel free to raise your hand if you have something to add in, as I mentioned initially. So anyone here who already know that what metrics are and why metrics are really important? Okay, so metrics are generally are the inputs. Sorry, metrics are generally are the inputs which actually help you to identify and track down your health of any sort of like application. Okay, so for example, if we have an API and that API has a like backend technology called Java, it's built in Java, and there is a metric called thread stuck. Okay, and that particular metric needs to be tracked down to understand the inner health of that Java API. So what it does, why it's really important to understand that particular thread stuck status, or the status of that particular metric. It's because it'll gonna like enable to save your business. Why and how it'll gonna like save your business? If that application has a multi-threaded program, and that API will land into a situation of thread stuck, it might not be able to serve uh, you know multiple requests coming from a different client to that server, and which result into loss of business. Okay, so it's really important to understand and measure that particular metric in timely manner. Okay, second, if we are occasionally observing that thread stuck is happening at particular time frame over the week, then we can even put a trend and put a sort of like a track onto that particular metric, that during this time this looks to be some way or other way impacted. So what we can do, we can track it uh, in a left shift mode approach, where we'll be more focused before the incident happen. Next would be, in case of like any immediate issue, we can quickly look into the status of that particular metric and troubleshoot the issue quickly. So it does reduce your MTTR. Okay, just to put that abbreviated, like a mean time to resolve any sort of like. So it's basically a troubleshooting if you are getting stuck with some issue, so that you can uh, get like quickly address using your metric tracker. So when it comes to okay, now I'll take a pause to see if we have any question from anyone, and then I'll take up the chat question. Okay, I can see someone has put they are not able to hear me. Is that for everyone?
Your your voice is a bit low, actually.
Okay, is it better now?
Yeah, somewhat.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. So any question so far with regards to metric? Okay. So one question we have in chat, is it possible to monitor server-side metrics? Yes, we can monitor server-side metrics. So when we say like metrics, metrics even classified into two types. One is your application metric, and second one is your infra metrics. So we do have provision. We do have sufficient visibility to address both of them. So Narula, that's your question. I hope that answers. Like application server, web server, database servers. Yes, it's possible to monitor your server side metrics. Any specific metric you are looking forward to, uh, answered here?
Yeah, so I was working in performance testing. So during the load test, we used to monitor the servers, right? So there
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, I mean, we observe like a high CPU utilization. Due to that, my response time got like shoot up to like more response time I'm getting. So I was
Yeah,
looking for those things like CPU, memory, and
yeah,
any slow running queries are there. I mean, from the DB, yeah, those kind of metrics I'm looking for.
yes, yes. So these all, like whatever you have mentioned, all can be tracked and monitored through Grafana. I mean, say like when I say Grafana, we need to understand Grafana is a UI enabler, platform. It's a visualization layer. It's natively doesn't hold much of the capability, but using some associated technology like Prometheus, or the better name should be the associated backend. Uh, we can track down those metrics and quickly monitor through Grafana.
So in order to track those metrics, I mean, do we need to install any particular agents in the application layer, app layer, and maybe DB layer? How
Yeah,
we can able to
we are.
track those things?
Yeah, we are coming on that. So we'll gonna like see that option too in upcoming slides. Anyone
Oh,
else
good.
have any question? Okay. So next we'll move with the data collection technique and how the data collection being done. What Naruvula were looking forward to know. So here we are using Prometheus as a backend. Okay. When I say like Prometheus, so Prometheus is itself a time series database monitoring solution, and uh, it does act as a backend for Grafana because of certain challenges which doesn't make Prometheus rightly enabled for an end user to view their uh, metrics or view their any sort of like insight coming from different server. Okay, so what it does, let's quickly understand Prometheus, how it function. So Prometheus has its own multiple component, and on high level it work on pull based mechanic. Okay, so when we say like pull based mechanic, what it simply means, so let's suppose we have a critical database server, and that database server has system utilities which are picking up some infra level metrics. When I say like infra level metrics means CPU, uh, disk, file system, these all. And so these are all being available to that particular utility. Now, when we have to, get those information, bring those information to Prometheus, how it done? So Prometheus use a solution or a small utility program, what we call exporters. Okay, so exporters get deployed onto your node or servers or source, whatever the right term you can say. So these are like just synonyms of the same thing. And on that server, it actually scrap those information and exposes them on a particular port. Okay, so once that scrapping is done, and once it exposes those metrics to endpoint, that endpoint is being pulled through discovery engine of Prometheus. Okay, by simply defining uh, the targets within prometheus.yaml file. That's the config file of Prometheus. where we need to define the corresponding endpoints from where one need to pull in, or Prometheus needs to pull in those desired metrics. So once it pull up those desired metrics, it stores them into its time series database, and that database can be native and it can be any external database, subject to what sort of like implementation one organization is following. So once those database will be stored, once those metrics will be stored within that time series database, what next would be that to see or find out rightful information from those metrics. And how it being done? How it being done? This is the Prometheus query UI. Here we will be using Prometheus native query technique, that is PromQL, to fetch up the desired view or insight from the metric. Now if you'll see, this query is all about to fetch the CPU utilization. Okay, and if you'll see, the visualization, it does come up with like only two mode. Okay, one is graph and other one is like a linear representation. Currently it's appears with different name. It's a old snapshot. So basically it does offer a very limited capability for representation and visualization, and that's where end user find it really difficult to follow through and to understand the inner health status of a metric, and it's look very complicated even to track down or baseline any sort of like issue which needs to be you know uh, tracked down, or whatever the developers are looking forward to troubleshoot. So that's where we generally look forward to Grafana. And now that's the need of Grafana to enable the end users, okay, the SREs, the developers, the monitoring team, to look on to a better UI for quickly understanding the metric status, okay, and then helping the team to troubleshoot. So same, if we see on Grafana, this is Grafana view. It's look more presentable, it's look more readable, it's look more understandable, that what the metrics are trying to say. Okay, so that being the reason, we simply say that Grafana actually provide enriched visualization, okay, which enhances the readability, which enhances the quick understanding of the metric status. So I'll take a pause to hear back if anyone have any additional question. Anyone or anything to add in? Okay, I hope we are following so far. So let's move forward. So this is the need. Okay, this is the major challenge, that even after having a great capability in terms of offering native query technique, as well as um, a time series database, and then native even alerting technique, what is being done through alert managers. Alert manager is one of the additional add-on for Prometheus, which being used, or which needs to be configured if someone is looking forward to put a tracking or put a alerting for their metrics as per their required threshold. So alert manager is one of the native capability of Prometheus. So even after having all these, it does come up with the challenges of providing enriched visualization. And that's where Grafana um, put itself like forward. Okay, so now this is the Grafana we're gonna like discuss, we're gonna like follow into our entire program to understand it more, to understand how it function, to make sure that all our needs. Okay, I see one hand raised.
Yes, Nick. So
Yeah.
I just want to know, like, because previously I used Grafana, and there we used like there is a like already designed templates are there like for design
Mhm,
dashboards. For example,
mhm.
5496. There's a one dashboard I used to use when I integrate with Jmeter. So
Yeah.
are we going to learn about the creating of new dashboards as well?
Yes, we're gonna like look into dashboard creation, but it will be limited to some of the data sources, not on all, because we all know that Grafana doesn't offer any native query technique, and it will be really difficult if we'll go and cover entire different backend data sources. It's hard to write. It's hard to master all the query system. So we'll be covering dashboarding for sure. It's one of the module, and we'll be creating some sort of like a dashboard from a very scratch.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. During our
No problem.
program, I mean, for now, you are telling Prometheus is our data source to create the Grafana dashboards. So likewise, so how many data sources we are going to cover as part of this course? Only Prometheus or some other data sources we cover as
Okay, we're gonna use Prometheus at a maximum stretch, you can say, but we'll look onto the CloudWatch. That's AWS based data source, and we'll even see Influx TV. And if there'll be need, we'll gonna like include SQL Server. Okay, and if there'll be a scope left, we can discuss if something which is ad hoc to anyone who is available. I'll try to include that too. So Siva has input Kubernetes monitoring. Uh, we can discuss, but again, Kubernetes monitoring is itself a broader topic. But yes, definitely we'll gonna like look on to what needs to be covered in terms of like Kubernetes monitoring.
Okay, thanks, Jmeter.
No problem, Siva. Okay, so this is it as part of like providing demonstration on why we need Grafana and where it rightly fit. Now I'll go through with the program so that everyone will be aware that what we'll be covering, and I'll make it some way to understand through the Grafana UI, which I have hosted on my local system. So this is our program. I hope many of you must have already visited this page. Okay. So what we'll gonna like cover? First of all, we'll see definitely the overview that what Grafana is all about. Okay. And since it's a Grafana Foundation Enabler program, many of you must be already aware with some sort of like basic, but we'll go with this scratch. We'll understand that what Grafana solution is all about, and then we'll start with our a lab that would be installation and setting it up. So for installation and setup, I would request if everyone can utilize the free AWS accounts, the free tier, and that we'll use along with our session. And then we'll move forward with understanding the UI of Grafana, that what are all options we do see. So this is Grafana UI, and we generally see a simple view how we can customize this, okay, as per our organizational need or as per the particular team's need, how we can customize this. What are all different data sources option it does provide, what are all different mode it does offered uh, in terms of deployment, and how we can manage users. Let's follow along this so that so once we'll understand the UI, we'll see and we'll look on to building effective dashboards which will include best practices that what needs to be followed while creating a dashboard. Like either it would be like minimal data or unrequired data. These all we're gonna like look and understand that what are the right practices that needs to be put first while creating a dashboard. And then we'll talk on to the panel configuration within the dashboard. Most important would be like using template variables and then templatizing your dashboards for making it like some way automated. So this is one of the key important topic you can mark. So we'll kind of like look into it. And then user administration and workspace management. So when it comes to most of the organization you may have seen, it's since it's a newer solution, maybe it appears to be so far I have seen within three organization. And as per my own experience, wherever I have initiated my work, I have seen that it's been the workspace management and the user management looks very it's not composite, and it does offer like whole lot of great scope of improvement. So that we'll gonna like see that how we can manage users effectively and how we can manage the workspaces so that data segregation will be done rightly, and that is really important if we are handling Grafana onto centralized level. And then I will move up with the we'll gonna like discuss on LDAP. LDAP is something where we need additional LDAP configuration, which we might not be available with, but we'll gonna like look back onto the backend where we can change and place these all settings within Grafana. So we'll look onto the backend side of Grafana. Then we'll move on to alerts and notification. The newer Grafana offers does really enrich and advanced capability onto the notification end. We'll use some open source technique to integrate as a ITM sim layer for alerts, and we'll set up some real-time alerts to see the flow of alerts from Grafana to any notification channel that what we'll be using through this session. Then we'll even talk on to the troubleshooting alerts, if there will be alerts, how it can be taken up by either monitoring team or the application team or even the performance engineering team. Next, we'll move into the advanced feature. We'll be discussing with the plugins that how plugins help Grafana to extend its capability. We'll look into annotation. Again, it will be subject to whatever data we'll be having through the session. And then we'll talk on to the integration end, okay, which will gonna like involve your containerized Grafana deployment and how we can integrate Grafana with any other solution. Again, this is marked because throughout the session we'll be using open source solution, and open source solution does come up with certain restriction. So we need to anyhow adhere those restriction. We'll talk on those restriction as well in our upcoming session, that what all restriction will be gonna like have when we'll be using open source solution, and what are all different option we have when we go with the enterprise or SaaS solution. Next would be like performance tuning and optimization. We can talk on it with regards to uh, how we can tune our performance of Grafana. Okay, what sort of like a strategy we can follow to troubleshoot if there will be any sort of like issue with regards to Grafana performance. And next we'll get into our this is something we're gonna like follow throughout the session, real world use cases. Since I'm working professional with the same technology, I think I have multiple use cases to share and discuss, and feel I like to even give platform to the people who are looking forward to introduce their use cases or to discuss. Again, that will be subject to the time limitation. and throughout we're gonna like have interactive Q&A session for sure. Last one would be again the course conclusion, and certificate of completion would be provided to the participants from the organization end. So this is what we're gonna like cover in our 12 to 15 hours of upcoming session, and this will be gonna definitely a very a great experience for sure to build understanding with Grafana. Okay, so here I'll take a pause, and now we'll open up the platform for the open question and answer. So feel free to take the mic and put down your question.
May I know the course duration, like how many days it will go?
Um, so 12 to 15 hours is initial estimated time, but again, sometime we have seen that it stretched more than that, subject to more interaction, and sometime we need to introduce some additional thing. So yeah, so 12 to 15 hours is initial estimated hours.
Okay.
So are you planning to conduct the daily session or weekly?
We are planning to make it like daily, but again we're gonna
Okay.
like roll out a poll, and as per the majority of input, we'll see that what would be the right fit for our audience.
Okay.
Can cover interest DB also, right?
Yeah,
Like logs monitoring, KPI and API monitoring logs.
yeah. We'll use InfluxDB as one of the source.
Okay.
And at what time actually you're preparing the session? Same with the 9 to 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
So currently it's like Monday to Friday we are targeting 9 to 10 p.m. IST. But as I mentioned, we can roll down some poll as well, subject to input. But currently this is the plan, Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. IST. For registration and all, feel free to reach out to the admin team, and with regards to all even time related queries, you may feel free to talk back to them. They might be giving some sort of like option, but currently as mentioned it will be Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. IST. So if everyone is good, I think we are good to close our session, and I'll be looking forward to move forward um, and onboard most of you to move forward with the program. Feel free to reach out to the again the admin team for any sort of like assistance, or for getting answer to any sort of like query. Thank you everyone for joining today's demo session. Okay, Amit, you have any? Feel free to unmute yourself. Okay, I see you. Okay, how much will you be working on Prometheus? Okay, so this might not be a Prometheus enabler program. So we'll be definitely using Prometheus for when we'll be talking on to building out dashboard and understanding dashboard creation on Grafana. We'll be covering Prometheus on that end. So it not be extensive for sure. Might that will be introduced in a separate Prometheus program for Grafana. This is with Grafana, but yes, we'll be covering Prometheus for building out dashboards and to understanding dashboard creation process. Hope that answers your question. Great, thank you.
Sumit, at what time regular classes will start? I mean, from tomorrow onwards, it will directly start, or it will take the other 2 days for a demo session?
We'll be starting from tomorrow. The official sessions will start from tomorrow.
So you are providing any documentation as well, like to follow or anything?
I mean, we'll use a whiteboard. We'll use any editor where we can write up something which might be needed post our discussion. Or other than that, I'll recommend to utilize recordings of the session.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna like have
Regarding this,
something
you can share like any website or in the mail only.
references and resources will be discussed during the session. For sure, there'll be some resource redirection will be done, that what can be utilized for mastering the technology. And yeah, I think this is how we'll kind of like progress. This is what you are looking forward to know. Hello.
Uh,
Does you got your answer? I
no,
mean,
no.
I'm not sure if
You
I
are
have.
uploading videos from like sending a mail or through any website from your website.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. I will like give access to users or students through their email ID. So we will put it on to either private section of YouTube, or a few other options are there, but you will be provided access using your email ID only. So through email ID, these permission will be granted, and through that only you will be able to see those recordings.
Here in this course, you can count here like Kubernetes resources like parts, services.
Yeah, I mean, again, covering Kubernetes will kind of like take a whole lot of time again, but we will discuss for sure that if we have to monitor Kubernetes using Grafana, we can touch base on that area. That what needs to be, when it comes to Kubernetes infrastructure, what needs to be tracked, what needs to be monitored, and
Mm,
even we'll see that what are all metrics would be required. So we can discuss on that.
mm.
Any other question?
I have one more question, Sumit. Like, in real time, can you explain? Suppose there are hundreds of servers, right? like
Mhm.
that scenarios you will explain how much storage we need required in Prometheus and what are the limitations like that. Will explain, correct?
Um, okay. So when it comes to Prometheus, scaling out, scaling in as per infrastructural growth, again, that is something can be done within Prometheus, but yes, we'll at extent cover that to understand that what sort of need will be there if we'll be having a 50 server or if we'll be having 70 servers. Because that even if we'll go through Prometheus on CNCF based courses, it's are like heavily charged, but still they doesn't provide any sort of like insight with regards to the infrastructure management because there is no high level scalability factor available with the Prometheus deployment technique. It doesn't offer a similar capability. Okay, that's another one of the limitation of Prometheus, scalable infrastructure. So that being the reason they haven't put down anything officially that for these servers this much you know uh, storage would be needed. So on
uh,
as per experience we can discuss. I'll cover as per my own experience what we were using and in the past a couple of organizations. So that we can discuss.
okay, yeah. And also you mentioned CloudWatch logs, something like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I I heard that people are using this CloudTrail, which where the integrated CloudWatch. Uh, these CloudTrails are, I mean, they are getting around 2 GB, 4 GB. It depends upon activity in AWS account. That use case also, can you explain, correct? I mean, like that tricky
Uh,
type of thing.
okay, so these are like very deviated topics. So when it comes to CloudTrail and CloudWatch, both are different solution offered
Yeah, yeah,
by
yeah, yeah.
AWS provider. So
Yes,
CloudTrail is something where we look into the logs, and CloudWatch is something which deals with the metrics. And
yes,
it does even cover some sort of like at certain extent it does cover your logs, but majority time it's all about like metrics. In Grafana, when we talk about Grafana is basically to deal with metrics. It does kind of like have coming as a observability platform which deals with all three different pillar of observability, uh, but at certain extent I think we will be more focused onto the CloudWatch integration and through that CloudWatch, because when we see like you may have seen the CloudWatch dashboards, it's
yeah, yeah.
pretty basic. Okay, it doesn't even give you sufficient capability to provide enrich again visualization. So because of that, wherever you see a visualization gap, that's where you see Grafana. Okay, so wherever you see like some sort of like challenges with right visualization and right alerting, then Grafana can be a right solution for that issue or for that particular challenge. So that being the reason we are incorporating CloudWatch.
Okay, yeah. Thanks.
No problem. So we have still like I'll keep this session open for next 4 minutes. If we have stayed so far, feel free to utilize this 4 minutes to talk more. If any sort of like confusion or if anything with regards to this program, someone is looking to know more.
A final question from my end. So at the end of the session, like at the end of the course, so what
Mhm,
gonna be my takeaways? So like I'm expecting because actually as a performance engineer, so
mhm,
I'm expecting to create different type of dashboards in Grafana and
mhm,
integrate Grafana with our application servers and to monitor both the client and server sides. So
mhm.
that is what my expectations from this course. So will it be fulfilled with this code?
Yeah, I think definitely the takeaway would be that you'll be very comfortable first of all with Grafana. That's the main goal. Okay, that when it comes to Grafana, that Grafana is something we are like any organization is using as a front layer, then you will feel very comfortable to accept that particular challenge that okay, now I can utilize Grafana for anything. Okay, so that's the main end goal. And when it comes to putting down different different backend technology to source our Grafana, that will be subject to organizational implementation. I'll be clear over here that let's suppose that you know uh, team is using Snowflake based database high availability and clustering technique for their databases. Okay, and you are looking forward to monitor those, right? So will that somewhere or other way covered through this session? I think if we'll be talking on to how Grafana works, definitely you'll get insight that how if it need to integrate it with Snowflake, how it will work. Okay, so you'll get those understanding, and those understanding will be sufficient as far as I can see to make you like comfortable, to opt those situation and move forward. But will it make you like expert on those end? Um, that is something which is challenging to say that it will make you like expert onto the backend technologies. That would be a challenge statement. Okay. So for Grafana, definitely you will be very comfortable. That's the key takeaway, what you are going to take from this program.
Because actually, yeah, why? Because nowadays everyone is expecting to use open source. Like even if you go for
Hmm.
load testing tools like Jmeter, and every organization they're expecting to use more open source. So everyone is going for Grafana and Prometheus on this. So
Correct.
my perspective is, if I want to be the like expert in this monitoring, so I think definitely I can go ahead with this. Right?
Yeah, I think most of the organization are looking forward to someone who can comfortably say that they are comfortable with Grafana, okay, to deal with whatever metrics they are bringing in, because at the end the source is something which is your technology dependent. So let's suppose if someone is like a DBA, okay, who is looking forward to master Grafana, they can get into this program. They can master the Grafana technology. And so backend, as I said, like backend is something which is being driven by a different technology. So covering all backend would be difficult. It's absolute challenging. Okay, and that being the reason, committing down that you will understand all the backend, which will make you very comfortable whenever going with any sort of like organization where they say that Prometheus and Grafana, or Grafana is like our main solution, and through this program you will be enabled. That would be, you know, uh, I think that will be not a great expectation, because we need to understand that backend technology is in itself a separate path. Okay, I don't want to demotivate you, but this is reality input. But again, if you'll have understanding of how Grafana works, I think it will make your work very simpler, to deal with those backend technologies. So if you know that how Grafana does function, how the backend is getting controlled through Grafana, how it is getting integrated, I think you'll be comfortable to get onto those roles and fulfill your requirement.
Yeah, thanks.
No problem. So I think we are ahead of a minute. So we'll close this session. Once again, thank you everyone for joining our demo session. We'll be starting, as mentioned, as per schedule, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. IST, Monday to Friday. From tomorrow, we'll start with our regular courseware. Okay, I'll close the session now. Thank you, everyone, once again. Have a wonderful time.
Thanks.
Thank you.